If you have any interest in plants, then you should learn how to propagate plants. Some people don't understand what propagation is. Propagation is simply creating new plants using seeds or cuttings. Some things do better when you start them from seed, and some things do very well just from cuttings. Succulents are a type of plant that are, I suppose some people would say that they're kind of deserty kind of plants, because they can go without water more than normal plants, and they can dry out and still survive. The Aeonium is a type of succulent, except it's not as succulenty, if that's a word. It's probably not, but the leaves are kind of thin, so they didn't need a small bit more water than other succulents. But anyway, they are a beautiful plant. I have hundreds of them. They are my favorite plant. When I started to get into propagation, I just got hooked and obsessed with propagating these, and you can see I have so many different types, and they can get pretty big. See the size of this one? And they're kind of expensive to buy, but you can make them so easily. If you have one Aeonium with a few branches, you'll never need to buy another one, because you can propagate these and they will root. So I'm just going to show you how to easily propagate this. Remember, propagation, I'm just taking a cutting. Okay, so I'm taking a part of the plant, which is a cutting, which will be a clone, so it'll be identical to the parent plant. So if you have a plant that has really good genetics, then it's really worth taking cuttings from that plant, because they will be clones. Whereas with seeds, there is genetic variation in the seeds, so there's not a guarantee that if you use a seed from a plant that you're going to get the exact same plant. But with clones, it's the same genetics. So I'll quickly show you how to propagate or take a cutting. So you need something to cut with, and you can use a secateurs if you have a secateurs, or you can use a knife. I find a knife is better for a clean cut. And you should always kind of disinfect your tools. So if I had, this knife is all black, if I had a lighter or my blowtorch, I'd probably do that, and that'd be enough to kill any bacteria on it. I have some fungicide, an organic fungicide or pesticide. It's pyrethrum or pyrrol. That's what's in this. So I'm just going to spray my knife with it, and that'll just make sure that when I'm taking the cutting, I'm not straight away introducing some bacteria or fungus into the cutting. So always disinfect whatever you're cutting with. So now I'm going to pick a plant. Look at this Aeonium. It's very long, it's in a small pot. I'm going to just chop the head off there around about 6 inches down, 6 or 7 inches. So, and I'm just going to make a clean cut, and I don't know how I'm going to do this without dropping the plant. So I'm just going to cut there, just try and keep it clean, and if I can just catch the plant below. Whoa, got it. So look, this is my cutting, and this is the plant. But this plant is not going to die. This plant is fine. This plant is going to start producing multiple heads coming from the top here. So, and I'll show you what happens. I can just find one here. Now, see this? This has got lots of new heads and new growth up here. Now, last season I cut that there, so that was just a bare stump, and this is the result. So not only do you get your beautiful new cutting, but what comes back after is even a more beautiful plant. Now naturally Aeoniums will branch off, but it takes a while, but this kind of forces it. So here's a cutting. Now with Aeoniums, the trick is to let the wound dry. So if you got a cut or on your arm or whatever like that, it'd scab over and dry up, and the same is with plants. So this needs to just dry up and scab over and develop what we call callus tissue, and that's the scab. So in the meantime, what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to hang it up out of the way here. Now, if the weather were really hot, I might put this part in a bag, but it's not. It's overcast, it's damp. I don't have to worry about it drying out, because you worry about cuttings drying out, but not right now, not with these conditions. So I'm just going to hang it up like that for about 24 to 48 hours, just to let this dry over. Because if you put that in to your medium, into your compost or whatever like that, compost is full of all sorts of bacteria and stuff like that, and I'm not saying it would rot it or affect it like that, but it's best off. You'll have more success if you just kind of dry that cut off. So I'm just going to hang that up there. Now you could just leave it anywhere. You don't need a line or anything. You could just leave it dry anywhere. So now it's hanging up there. So in 24 hours I'll come along. Where's that? I have a tray somewhere. There it is. So these are heads, these are just smaller, but in about 24 hours I'm just going to come along to my head, and I'm simply going to stick it in a mix of compost. Now that's about it. If it's really dry, if it's really hot and stuff like that, then you might want to cover these with something to stop them from drying out. But that's basically it. Within a couple of weeks, that plant is going to root. Now Aeoniums are types of succulents, and succulents root easily. So in comparison to other plants, you can be nearly guaranteed it's going to root. So put this down. So that's an introduction to propagation. Propagation is just kind of like making new plants out of cuttings and seeds and things like that. If you have any interest in plants, whether it be ornamental plants or growing veg or anything like that, you should just learn a bit of propagation. And like, it doesn't take much work. It's really fun, like when you just take a part of a plant and you make a new plant. It's a really good feeling. So but then it saves you a lot of money. You know, you don't have to be buying all your plants all the time. You'll know, oh, I'll take seeds from that and I'll take cuttings from that. So it just, if you've got any few plants, it makes it more fun, interesting, and saves lots of money. If you could subscribe, please. I'm kind of new to YouTube, so I'm trying to remember what I should say. If you could like, share and subscribe to my channel, it would be fantastic. I'm doing a lot of beekeeping, plants, propagation, and all sorts of kind of farmy, organic-y kind of things. Oh, and microgreens, of course. So please like, share and subscribe. Thanks.